Guru Jojo here to talk about horoscopes. What are horoscopes? Are they reliable? Are they fun? Indeed, they could be quite fun, right? Horoscopes are like the pop culture of the astrology community. So here's the thing. I'm going to go over what horoscopes are on a pretty deep level. Like I'm a straight up break it apart and decipher it. All right, so you got Hora, you got Scope. All right, Hora deals with the eye of Horus. Hora deals with time, because it's like hours. Hora, hours, right? And it deals with a particular subunit. I wouldn't even call it a subunit. It's a type of astrology known as horary astrology. But it's like a bootleg horary astrology, horoscopes are. Because horary astrology is a whole nother science that deals with predictions. So, here's the thing, right? You got scopes. Scopes are anything that you can perceive at a different time distance. So, distance and time are pretty much the same thing. Like, no, my bad. Let me rephrase that. Distance and past time and future timing is the same thing, right? Because if you're looking at something at a distance, you're not there yet. It's going to take you a particular amount of time to get there. So you know that distance and time are connected in that way, right? Boom. So whenever you're dealing with a scope, you're actually trying to perceive something either before it existed or what's coming into existence. This is the reason why when you use a telescope, you're looking at something in the future. You're looking at something that is at a distance from you. Therefore, it takes you time to get to that location. When you look at something with a microscope, you're actually looking at something from the past. Because, like, let's say you look at a leaf under a microscope or something like that. You are looking at its cells. So you're looking at what the leaf was before it was a leaf. So this is distant stuff. You're looking at stuff that's at a distance, essentially. So any type of scope is dealing with you trying to perceive something at a distance or previously, which is still a distance. Like, even if you think about it, like a cell and stuff like that, right, is something that is existing deep. My computer just glitched, but I don't know if it showed up on here. I don't think it did. So anyways, a cell is something that is showing up really deep within you. So it's far away from you, right? Like, if you're trying to look at something for its smaller components, you can't even see it. The human eye can't even pick it up. That's how tiny it is. That's how far away it is from you. So things like sizing and distance all are relevant to the concept of time as well. This is the reason why you can't even pick up on the earth sounds. Like, the earth is making sounds right now. I'm not speaking of the crickets making sounds or, you know, any sort of sounds related to what's happening within your surroundings. I'm speaking on the earth is always vibrating a pitch that you're not even picking up on, because you are at a distance from that vibration, meaning that you have a threshold as to what information you're able to perceive and pick up. And scopes allow you to be able to perceive that information, because it almost like magnifies it to appear closer to you. So it's actually an illusion, just so that you can actually be able to come into contact with that energy. So with that being said, these are the reason why we have things like horoscopes, microscopes, telescopes. What other kind of scopes do we have? So a horoscope pretty much allows you to be able to see the future of your personality, in a sense, because astrology deals with personality. That's what it's about. It's the ability to be able to organize different personalities of individuals based upon the constellations, the stars, the zodiac. So a horoscope is allowing you to be able to perceive the future based upon what information was picked up about your personality. Like, so that's what it is. But the thing is, horoscopes really focus upon pop culture more so. So it doesn't get so much into the depths of astrology. It doesn't get into the depths of the zodiac sign. It gets more into the typical, stereotypical information related to the zodiac rather than the depths of the zodiac. So for example, Aries is competitive. Taurus are frugal, or Taurus are, they focus a lot on material things, and then Geminis are wishy-washy and they talk too much, and Cancers are whiny and they always complain and they're sensitive, and Leos are attention seeking, and Virgos are perfectionist and nerdy, and Libras are the person who everybody wants to be their best friend, and they always have a relationship partner. They may be a hoe or something like that, like your Regina George from Mean Girls. And then Scorpios are suspicious and they do bad things, and Sagittariuses are really funny and outgoing, and Capricorns are bossy, and Aquariuses are weird and they're into science, and Pisces are dreamy and magical or something. That's that pop culture definition of the zodiac signs, rather than get into the depths, which actually takes a very long time to learn deeply about the zodiac signs. Like Aries is, yes, they are a competitive sign, but a lot of times people think Aries are into sports and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And that's not necessarily the case. Like, Aries is really just the sign of being ahead. That's really all it means. So a lot of times they're the first ones to get something done, and that's why a lot of times it's not really that good, because it's not, and it's not that it's not that good. I don't want to say that, because we have more than one sign. But if people only acted upon their Aries sign and they didn't have, the other signs to utilize, things would break down real fast. Like, things would get done, but it would end really quickly, because Aries is the sign of the head. So it's all about up here. It doesn't process really the rest of the body. It processes more so what's in the forefront. And the willpower right now. Like, if you're hungry, you assert yourself to get food, right? Whereas Scorpio, which is very similar to Aries, is about more long-term desires. That's why Scorpios can hold on to things for a long time. They can wait and then go towards whatever it is that they want. So that's why sometimes it's like Scorpios can kind of sneak up on you. Like, you'd be like, wait, hold up, what were you doing behind the scenes? Like, so anyways, see, these things are deep. They're deep, because Scorpios, they transform. That's the difference. Aries may not be patient enough to transform, because they want to transform right now, and they may transform right now, and they may not actually get ahead for the long term. And then and I'm only speaking about those two signs because Aries is the first sign, and then Scorpio is basically like a more feminine version of Aries, so it's just an easy comparison there. But in general, that's what horoscopes are. They are a pop culture, a fun and entertaining way of giving out daily astrology, zodiac forecast. And it doesn't have to be daily, but it's just one of those things where that's what's going on. It's just very pop culture, like, you know. So it's the difference between, you know, what people pay attention to more so, what people care about, like, because not everybody cares so much about the depths of astrology. They just want to hear what they want to hear. That's the horoscope stuff. That's what people like. It's not necessarily correct though, because you have to really consider the whole astrology chart. But if you want something fun and entertaining real quick, just to kind of like look forward to, like help you look forward towards your day or something like that, or just, you know, just for entertainment, but don't take it too seriously, horoscopes are cool. So pretty much in Western astrology, right, you have, I don't even know how many ways, you have a couple different ways to be able to predict the outcome of events, or at least like know what's coming into the future based upon your personality, the blueprint that you were born with, right? So you have your natal chart, which is the blueprint you were born with. This is basically the day you were born, the location you were born, including the time that you were born, and then you can construct yourself a natal chart, right? Then after that, you can then compare your natal chart to your current chart, like the current day's chart. So this would create a transit chart. And then you also have secondary progressions, and you also have solar arc progressions. In my opinion, progressions just seem like long transits, but I believe other people probably on YouTube that do astrology have better explanations for what progressions are, or you could just Google it. But in my opinion, from what I can see, it seems to be the way that your natal chart is maturing towards, and it seems to just be like long-term transits. So those are the main ways you can make predictions with Western astrology. In Vedic astrology, they have similar things, but they have more complex stuff. Western has a lot more stuff too. Like, for example, you can also compare things with relationships. You can figure out how you would be in romantic relationships, in friendships and stuff like that, partnerships with synastry charts. There's also composite charts for relationships too. And there's like a Davison's chart and stuff like that. So, you know, there's different ways. In Western astrology, I'm not really sure what they have, but I know they have various different charts. They have the nakshatras. They they focus more so on the moon rather than the sun, like Western astrology does. So it's just a little bit different. And then both Western and Vedic astrology utilize something called horary astrology. Horary astrology is what I feel like is the more science version of horoscopes. I feel like horoscopes were pulled out of horary astrology and created to a pop culture way of entertaining others through the zodiac, through astrology. Horary astrology involves timing. So it's basically a type of astrology in which you're able to predict the likelihood of a event or a situation, a question someone asked, based upon the timing that they asked the question. I'm not sure how else, you know, they come to their conclusion, but that's why horary astrology is a whole nother science. But that's as far as what I can tell what it is. Okay, somebody could literally ask a question and they could tell you yes or no based upon the timing that you asked the question. Timing, hours, hora, right? Horoscopes. Horoscopes are telling you about the story, okay, of your day based upon your zodiac sign. So it's a storytelling type of pop culture thing, horoscopes. It's like the TMZ of astrology, in my opinion, horoscopes. It's just pop culture entertainment of astrology. Horary astrology is a lot more scientific. It's a lot more in depth, and again, it involves the likelihood of an event to occur based upon the timing that the person became curious about the likelihood of it. So I said that weird. Let me say that over. Let me say it again. It's about the likelihood of a particular situation based upon the timing that the person asked the question. So, you know, like let's say that I want to know if I'm going to be able to get into a particular program, and maybe the horror astrologer will ask like, okay, did you apply to the program yet? I don't know if they would even ask all this stuff. I'm completely just winging this. So maybe if you're interested in this, you should look it up. But I'm assuming that they're gonna be like, oh, did you apply for the program? Okay. And then maybe they do their thing. They just get their little charts out and they look at the timing that you asked the question, and they can figure out whether or not you would be likely to make that program or not, you know, be accepted into that program. I guess they probably look to see in the chart, you know, where all those aspects are that led you to ask the question in the first place, and that probably has to like match up with the current chart. Like, so as long as you have like, it's like a ding 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 ding, okay, this is yes. If it's just like ding ding and then it's like, nah. I hope I made sense. It makes sense to me. I'm a Pisces, you know, so that's how it works. So I hope this video was helpful, and thank you for watching.